All right, guys, so we got to talk about Lia/Will Thomas once again, as there's once again another story out in the news about what teammates are saying about Lia Thomas in the locker room and how they really feel about a biological man competing against biological women in swimming, right? So if you guys aren't familiar with Lia Thomas, each one of you should, but Lia Thomas is a transgender woman who is competing against women in college swimming, right? So they're a biological man competing against biological women. Now, this person has broken all types of records, okay? They've been dominating the competition, which has led to this person basically going viral, right? Being in all of the news because people are having a serious conversation about why is it that a biological man is allowed to compete amongst women, right? And we see what happens when you allow that. Men dominate for the most part, unless they're trying to actually throw the competition to prove that they don't have an advantage, which Lia Thomas and another transgender person was accused of doing. But outside of them trying to purposely throw the competition, yeah, they're dominating. Right, they're dominating. So before we get into this, I just want to remind you guys that my channel is facing some YouTube censorship that I've had to deal with recently here. So if you guys would like to support the channel, the links are below. You can, support the merch. You can support the Patreon. You can support the PayPal. It's up to you. But if you want to support, just remember that links are down below. So Lia Thomas, right? Lia Thomas teammates have been speaking out about how they feel about Lia competing against them. Okay, so most of these sports have been anonymous, right? But what they've been saying is what everybody thinks is that, hey, this is unfair. We don't really like it. We're not cool with it. We're actually forced to smile and to pretend like this is something that is okay. Okay, there's been reports about Lia Thomas saying things like, hey, I'm the Jackie Robinson of trans people in sports. Apparently, Lia Thomas doesn't really follow the rules. Okay, their teammates also are the ones that came out and accused Lia of essentially throwing the competition, try to make it seem like they didn't have as much of an advantage. There's been into all types of stuff. However, this report from Lia's teammates takes this situation up to a whole nother level. As apparently, Lia Thomas, who has not undergone surgery, I think they've just done testosterone suppression, is letting their berries and twigs swing in the locker room in front of these biological women. Okay, like this person apparently doesn't mind just letting it all hang, right, in the locker room, and that is bothering some of Lia's female teammates. And allegedly, Lia is still attracted to women as well, despite claiming to be a transgender woman. So let's go ahead and read more about this. A teammate of Lia Thomas on the University of Pennsylvania's women's swimming team told the Daily Mail that the locker room she shares with Thomas is definitely awkward because Lia still has male body parts and is still attracted to women. Now, again, you guys know how I feel about the whole bathroom thing, okay? You should use the bathroom that matches your genitals, right? That way, you're not being discriminatory against trans folks. It's just simply, let's use the bathrooms that match your genitals, right? That makes things a whole lot less awkward, right? Makes things a whole lot less awkward. But that's not what's happening here. And I'm surprised that this person who has not had bottom surgery to remove their genitals is allowed in the women's locker room just to undress like that in front of them. It's kind of sick, man, to think about, right? It really is. That they're being forced to be exposed to that because people don't really want to say anything about it because they might be called a bigot, right? Or a transphobe. It's crazy, man. Because if this person didn't identify as a transgender woman, everybody would be saying, no, it's unacceptable for somebody to do that, right? That you can't do that. That's creepy. That's what people will be saying if this person didn't identify as a transgender woman, right? That's what people will be saying. The Daily Mail report includes that the anonymous teammate stated that although Thomas' genitals are often covered by a towel, there have been a number of times Thomas' nudity has been revealed, exposing the genitalia for the women on the team to glimpse and making them feel uncomfortable. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a print, right? Even though it's covered up, I'm pretty sure there's a print there, okay? There's a print. And when you showering and when you taking off your clothes, putting on your clothes, people got to see that stuff. People got to see that stuff. I mean, I'm a dude, right? And when I go in the man's locker room, I don't even like seeing a dude's jump, right? So imagine being a woman seeing that. Again, I can only imagine how uncomfortable it is. Thomas has told teammates of having dated women, the Daily Mail reported. The anonymous teammate reported the charge that women on the team have articulated their concern with the coach, Mike Schooner, in order to get Thomas barred from the locker room, but to no avail. She stated, quote, multiple swimmers have raised it multiple different times, but we are basically told that we cannot ostracize Lia by not having her in the locker room and that there's nothing we can do about it, that we basically have to roll over and accept it. Or we can't use our own locker room. It's really upsetting because Lia doesn't seem to care how it makes anyone feel. The 35 of us are just supposed to accept being uncomfortable in our own space and locker room for like the feelings of one. The school also focused on making sure Lia was okay and doing everything they could possibly do for her, that they didn't even think about the rest of us. It just seems like the woman who built this program and the people who were here before Lia don't matter. And it's frustrating because Lia doesn't really seem to be bothered by all the attention. Not at all. Actually, she seems to like it. It's affected all of us more than it's affected her. Well, I'm not surprised about that because Lia said that it was the Jackie Robinson of, I guess, transgender people being in sports. Right? So obviously this person is taking the fame in stride. Okay, it's all a part of the plan for them. Okay, and guys, imagine this, right? How you can get all this attention and all this, glory for being a trailblazer, right, in this field, and you don't even have to cut off your penis. You don't even have to chop off your twigs and berries, and you can be seen as some revolutionary person that's a civil rights hero. Okay, you suppress the testosterone for a little bit. Once you get off the suppressants, your testosterone goes right back to normal, right? So what sacrifice is this person actually making? To be quite honest with you, they're just getting famous. If I'm a man, right? Seriously. If I'm a man and I want to get some fame, okay, I want to be in the record books, let me just identify as a woman. I don't have to go through any of the real sacrifices, like cut off, again, my junk or do anything like that. All I do is just suppress my testosterone for a little bit. Let me go do that. Let me break some records. Get on TV, get a whole bunch of accolades, get famous, get in the record books. Let me do that, right? And then go back to being a man. Okay? That's probably what a lot of people start doing, right? That's probably what a lot of people start doing. The teammate told the Daily Mail she had discussed with her teammates possibly launching a protest at a swim meet, but the consensus was they will be putting themselves at risk. She stated, we've all tried to think of anything we could do, but just don't know what we could do that wouldn't basically have us not be swimming. We already lost a year due to COVID, and people don't want to put their careers on hold. Last Saturday, after Lia Thomas won 2 more events against female swimmers on Saturday, one teammate who preferred to remain anonymous spoke out saying, we women are now third-class citizens. Thomas won the 100-yard and the 200-yard freestyle races in the meet against Harvard University. The anonymous teammate told the Washington Examiner Lia was not even close to being competitive as a man in the 50 and the 100, but just because Lia is biologically a man, Lia is just naturally better than other females in the 50 and 100 or anything that Lia wasn't good at as a man. Yeah, I mean, because again, it's easy, right? It's easy. Why not? If I want to break some records, if I want to be a top athlete, why don't I just, change my gender, right? I ain't got to cut off. Again, I don't have to go through the surgery. I don't have to make any real sacrifices to do it. Why not? Okay? All right. So the rest of this article basically just talks about how this person might have thrown a race with the other transgender swimmer who's a trans man, okay? I've already talked about that in the past. But I just want to say this to wrap this video up. Honestly, for as much as I agree with these anonymous teammates on Lia Thomas' team, I'm getting sick and tired of the anonymous reporters. Because as long as this stuff remains anonymous, nothing's going to happen. Right? Nobody's going to do anything about it. If you want something done about this, stop being afraid of being canceled and put a name and a face behind the things that you're saying. Come out with an interview. Come out with something, right? Put a name and a face behind what you're saying. Stand behind what you're saying. Because this whole anonymous this, anonymous that, like, I'm telling you, this is not going to lead to any change, right? Somebody has to stand up, because what I'm reading in this article is that, well, we want to remain anonymous because we don't want to give up our careers, swimming, right? We don't want to be canceled. We don't want to face the woke mob. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. I understand where you're coming from. But If most of you guys feel this way, which I imagine that probably most of the people on that team, the women on that team probably do feel that way. If you feel that way, then they can't cancel all of you guys. If you all speak up and say, hey, this is how we feel. We don't want this person on our team. We don't want men competing against us in sports. We really, really, really don't like this. We don't want this. This is unfair. And we refuse to swim. We are going to protest against it. If you stood up and said this is a women's rights issue, right? And you framed it that way and you put a name and a face behind it, I'm pretty sure you won't be canceled. Because it would be impossible to cancel the whole swimming team. What are you going to do? Say, oh, well, you guys can't swim anymore because of this person. No. What will actually happen is that it would make the conversation about, okay, these women, these biological women feel that this is a women's rights issue. Men competing against women in sports is a women's right issue. That is now what the conversation becomes about. What really bothers me is that it's almost like these women don't understand the positions that they're in, right? The potential impact that they can have on this conversation, okay? Because they're the ones that can stop this from happening. What is happening right now is they're the ones that can stop this because they have a major platform with a major news story, right, about somebody that has gone viral, that you can come out and say, no, this is unfair, okay? You have the power to say, no, we don't like this. And I would find it fascinating to see people on the left, the so-called feminists, try to respond to that, to try to tell these biological women that, hey, you're a bigot for not wanting to compete against, a biological man. I would love to hear them say that. I would love to hear that conversation. I would love to see the so-called progressives stand against women's rights, right? I would love to see it. So again, these women on this team have a whole lot of power and influence. However, they're never going to be able to actually use that power and influence as long as they remain anonymous, okay? Honestly, I'm sick and tired of anonymous reports because those reports are easy to ignore. People can just ignore it. Well, if you don't want to put a name and a face behind it, then how bad do you actually really feel, right? Is it actually really that big of an issue to you if you don't want to put a name and a face behind it? If you can't put a name and a face behind what you're saying, then honestly, there's really no point in saying it because people aren't going to take it seriously. Like what is happening right now. Nobody's taking this seriously because you haven't put a name and a face behind it. So again, all I'm saying is this. I agree with these women. But I want them to actually stop being afraid of being canceled, stop being afraid of the woke mob, and to reveal their identities and reveal who they are and to stand together and say, we don't support this. And I guarantee you, most of the country will stand with you as well. Most of the country will stand with you as well, okay? And they will not be able to cancel the whole swimming team. You guys will still have swimming careers. I guarantee you. But you're not going to have a career, or put it this way, you're not going to have a chance of a competitive career as long as you allow what is happening to happen right now, right? So again, pick your poison. Pick your poison. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.